So who can stop Steph Curry?
Hopefully we'll never find out.
Three-pointer. Bang! Scoop layup is up. It's good. Puts it in. Oh, Steph Curry from way downtown. A 50-point Game 7. One of the greats of all time showed us once again what he's capable of doing as he chases his 5th ring.
Incredible, absolutely phenomenal. Steph Curry, first 50-point game in a Game 7 in NBA history, and does it while shooting better than 50% from the field. Maybe the most important part of that game, only one turnover. Before yesterday, no player had ever dropped 50 with one or fewer turnovers in a series-clinching win since they first started tracking individual turnovers. He is clearly one of the greatest players of all time. The question that First Take asked was, is he the greatest point guard of all time? Here's First Take, Last Take.
Fact of the matter is, Magic Johnson revolutionized the game of basketball. We can't get around that. But Steph Curry, the greatest shooter God has ever created, I think has warranted a strong discussion to be the best point guard in history because of impact. Did y'all know that Steph Curry has won more of his career playoff series than Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Shaq, Kobe, Larry Bird, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? Steph Curry has won 85% of his career playoff series. He is 23-4 all time in 27 playoff series. That's 85%.
Who he's been doing it against and who he's been stopping from winning championships. When we talk about LeBron James, on some people's list he's number 1. On some people's list he's number 2. Who's been in his way? Steph Curry. When we talk about stopping Kevin Durant when he was in Oklahoma City, who was in his way? Steph Curry. We're talking about a guy that is playing in the league with Giannis Antetokounmpo, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Anthony Davis. We're talking about guys, Russell Westbrook, James Harden. We're talking those 6 guys alone already cemented in the Hall of Fame, in my opinion. So when you think about that, all those guys, we're talking about 7-footers, athletic, and whatever the case may be. He is 6'2" and played below the basket. And he has been in their way since he came into the league. So when I look at Steph, I said it last year and I'm going to stand on it right now. He is the greatest point guard to ever play the game of basketball, period.
Well, ahead on SportsCenter as Curry and the Warriors move on to face LeBron and the Lakers, which under the radar, Warrior, are any of them under the radar, needs to step up for Golden State to advance.
Warriors coming off a Game 7.
They're called him doubtful for tonight, but said that he is improving daily. For the very latest, we bring in Tim Bontemps. He was just at Sixers shoot-around there in Boston. What's the latest for Embiid tonight?
Well, the latest, Hannah, is that Joel Embiid was on the court with the Sixers at the start of shoot-around. We were out there for the first few minutes before Philadelphia got started, and frankly, Joel Embiid did not do very much. He got on the court, took some very standstill jumpers, the same thing he did at the team's Camden, New Jersey practice facility on Sunday, and he remains doubtful for tonight's Game 1. Now, the Sixers are being cagey about this. They haven't really let anybody see what Embiid can do. They haven't said how much he has ran or how much he's been able to move around. But certainly, you know, his status is not looking great for tonight's game. We'll see if something happens between now and tip-off tonight. But going back to when this injury happened, Philadelphia was just hoping that Boston would have their series extend as far as possible, meaning that it wouldn't start until today as opposed to Saturday, given the fact that Embiid is still doubtful for Game 1. The fact that the series against Atlanta went 6 games is as good a situation as Philadelphia could hope for. But certainly if Embiid does not play, Philly's going to need their guards, namely Tyrese Maxey and James Harden, to step up in a big way. Doc Rivers told me over the weekend the team has spent a ton of time preparing on small ball lineups in the event that Embiid cannot play. And Maxey said this morning he feels good about where the Sixers are at with that. But both he and Harden have struggled at times against the Celtics and against smaller switching lineups this year. And for them to win this game tonight, if Embiid can't go, they're going to have to play as well as they have in any game this season.
And again, the headline here, I'm imagining from you watching practice, just as a point of emphasis, he did not do any jogging, no running. You didn't see any type of movement from Embiid, correct?
I did not, though, to be fair, Hannah. We were only in there for the first few minutes of shoot-around. Sixers did access before shoot-around started. So really everybody was just standing around shooting jumpers.
Okay.
But Joel Embiid walked in, he got his shoes on, he went out and did some shooting, and then we got let out of the gym, and we'll see tonight if he can do anything more than that.
All right, Tim, thanks so much. The Sixers 11-5 overall without him this season. And when he wasn't playing in that wrap-up game against the Nets, they did start Paul Reed at the 5. They kept P.J. Tucker at the 4. Tim, thank you. This is what Doc Rivers and the Sixers would be missing. This season, Embiid averaged 37 points and 12 rebounds in 4 games against the Celtics. However, Boston did win 3 of those 4 meetings. For more on the Sixers Celtics, we welcome NBA analyst Monica McNutt. She has been all over the airwaves, holding down the network this morning. So we appreciate you being with us on SportsCenter. You just heard what Tim said. Ideally, if this team is with the presumptive MVP, Joel Embiid, if he is not, how does that set things up for the Celtics?
Well, it's actually a combination of what Tim said, Hannah, and what I heard you just said. If there is no Joel Embiid, then the Celtics are going to have the opportunity to play defense straight up, and they can switch everything. The thing with Joel Embiid's presence is that he garners double teams so often. It's why he's been moved from the block to the high post, because it's harder to double. But without him being there, you look at this Celtics lineup that takes so much pride in their defense, they're going to have the opportunity to match up pretty evenly with the Sixers. Now, you heard Bontemps mention the guard play of the Sixers. You pointed out that Paul Reed has played the 5 in Joel Embiid's absence, and P.J. Tucker. The combination of Reed, Tucker, and McDaniel, to me, become very important in terms of their ability to defend the Celtics' size. Those are some of their more versatile defenders, in particular Tucker and McDaniel. But McDaniel oftentimes is defending guards. And so it's going to be interesting for the Sixers, particularly on the defensive side of the ball, in my mind. Offense, if they get hot from behind the three-point line or even in the mid-range, they could be okay. But defensively is where you're going to miss Joel Embiid a ton. I mean, both sides of the ball, candidly, but I think about defense.
And also, though, on the offensive side of the ball, if you could identify 1 or 2 players that really needs to make up that huge scoring deficit if he's not in the game.
Well, it's by committee, Hannah, because the thing is that he draws 2 and then the ball can move, right? So I could say vintage James Harden maybe covers the gap that is left by Joel Embiid, although he's shifted from a scorer to a little bit more of a facilitator, although he's still a capable scorer. But if he goes off, then sure, in theory, that could cover up the loss in terms of points. But what does that look like in terms of how the score is achieved? Does that mean that he's getting other folks involved or that he's just a straight-up scorer? So it's going to be interesting.
Right now, the Celtics are heavy favorites, given the possibility of Embiid not being in this game. They're actually favored by 10 points at home tonight. Monica, thank you.
What about what's going on over in the West? Game 2 from Denver tonight. Suns looking to bounce back after a Game 1 L. And just how did we get here? Well, let me tell you. Nuggets, 18-point win on Saturday. Their 4th largest margin of victory in a series opener in franchise history. Denver's 2nd straight Game 1 win after losing 5 straight from 2020 to 2022. Denver also made 9 more three-pointers than the Suns did, their 2nd largest differential in the playoff game in franchise history. 14 of their 16 makes were contested in Game 1. And Denver actually outscored the Suns by 15 points when both Kevin Durant and Devin Booker were on the floor together. In the first round, the Suns were plus 37 in 199 minutes with both of them on the court. We are back now with Monica. And Monica, look, I am positive the Suns do not want to go back to the desert in a 2-0 hole. So does it feel like a must-win for Phoenix tonight?
Shay, you already said it. You're positive. Yes, this is a must-win for Phoenix tonight. Listen, I think Kevin Durant is still one of the best in the league, and Devin Booker has been on a torrid run in this postseason. But in that first game, the depth was a glaring issue. I think back to KD and what he had to do to nearly knock off Milwaukee when he was with the Nets. And that included 2 plus 45-point performances. Yes, he has the firepower around them, but the Nuggets can come at you in waves. Aaron Gordon stepping into threes casually, almost as if he was uncontested. Nikola Jokic putting up another monster double-double. And Jamal Murray being healthy, he was 6 of 10 from the three-point line and finished with 34 points. I think the depth of the Nuggets is showing up in a very, very big way. And by no